The night was draped in darkness, and the city slept as my partner and I neared the end of our seemingly uneventful night shift. The streets were deserted, and the occasional flickering street lamp cast eerie shadows across the pavement. Little did we know, a call was about to thrust us into a nightmarish scenario that would defy our expectations and test the boundaries of our courage. As we prepared to wrap up the shift, a call crackled through the radio. It was a peculiar report, a man claiming to hear unsettling noises emanating from his attic. However, a complicating factor presented itself. The resident had a history of schizophrenia, casting doubt on the credibility of the distressing sounds. Nevertheless, protocol dictated that we investigate. The destination was a modest suburban home just 10 minutes away. Arriving at the scene, we were met by a disheveled man who, with eyes wide with fear, welcomed us inside. The living room, bathed in dim light, became the setting for an unnerving conversation. The man, grappling with terror, recounted weeks of strange occurrences that had unfolded within the confines of his home. Voices, footsteps, and bizarre disturbances had plagued his nights, prompting him to investigate the source. On occasion, he discovered items rearranged in ways that defied logic. His schizophrenia had us initially skeptical, attributing the disturbances to the manifestations of a troubled mind. Despite our doubts, duty bound us to explore the unsettling mysteries shrouded in the attic. Equipped with flashlights, we ascended the creaky stairs, the air thick with anticipation. The door to the attic groaned open, revealing a scene that transcended the ordinary and plunged us into a realm of terror. The attic, in a state of disrepair, unveiled a sight that sent shivers down our spines. Amidst the clutter and decay, a disheveled figure crouched in a corner, devouring a makeshift meal with frenzied desperation. His hollow eyes spoke of a madness that transcended the boundaries of sanity. Before him lay a grotesque altar, adorned with bloodstains, dead birds, and rats, a macabre collage of ritualistic horror. A palpable malevolence hung in the air as the man muttered incomprehensible words, seemingly in communion with unseen forces. The atmosphere was charged with an otherworldly energy, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling within the confines of that forsaken attic. With a sense of urgency, I commanded the man to cease his activities. Surprisingly, he complied without resistance, offering no explanation for the sinister tableau he had created. Detaining him, I couldn't shake the feeling that we had stumbled upon something far more insidious than a mere figment of a troubled mind. Later investigations revealed that the homeless man had gained access to the attic through a broken window, seeking refuge in the secluded space. His motives remained shrouded in mystery, and he divulged nothing about the twisted ritualistic acts that had unfolded under our unsuspecting gaze. The repercussions of that night lingered, haunting the corridors of our memories. The line between reality and delusion had blurred, and the unsettling truth that unfolded in the attic served as a stark reminder that the human mind could be a realm of inexplicable horrors. The echoes of that night continued to reverberate, a chilling testament to the thin veil that separates the rational from the inexplicable in the shadows of the night. The night air hung heavy with an eerie stillness as my coworker and I continued our patrol through the dimly lit streets. The glow of streetlights cast long shadows, adding an extra layer of tension to the atmosphere. We exchanged the usual banter, a casual attempt to lighten the mood, but the gravity of our profession loomed in the back of our minds. It was around midnight when we decided to stop at a nearby gas station to refuel and grab a quick bite to eat. Little did we know that this seemingly routine pit stop would be the prelude to a nightmarish encounter that would etch itself into our memories forever. As we lounged in the convenience store, sipping on coffee and unwrapping sandwiches, the tranquility of the night was abruptly shattered by the urgent call that would set the course for the evening. A scream and the sight of two suspicious figures entering a house had been reported. Without hesitation, we abandoned our half-eaten meals and raced back to the patrol car, adrenaline coursing through our veins. The address led us to a residential area, and as we approached, the glow of emergency lights reflected off the shattered window of the targeted house. With our senses heightened, we cautiously approached the scene, carefully navigating the periphery to avoid alerting potential assailants. The scream, now more distinct, guided us through the darkened house. We decided to enter through the broken window, our flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. The air was thick with tension, and every step felt like a deafening echo in the silence of the night. Ascending the stairs, the urgency of the situation escalated as the anguished cries grew louder. The realization that someone was in imminent danger fueled our determination. Bursting into the room, we were confronted by a scene straight out of a nightmare. Two masked figures, one wielding a knife and the other gripping a bat, standing over a bloodied and battered man. Our commands to drop their weapons echoed through the room, met initially with defiance. The standoff seemed to stretch into an eternity, the assailants hesitating before finally succumbing to the authority in our voices. With the threat neutralized, my partner swiftly called for backup and an ambulance, ensuring that help was on the way for the injured victim. The assailants, now disarmed and subdued, were handcuffed and led away by the arriving backup officers. As the chaos settled, the gravity of the victim's injuries became apparent: multiple stab wounds, a broken nose, and the unsettling sight of teeth scattered on the floor. The brutality inflicted upon him painted a chilling picture of the assailant's vendetta. The subsequent investigation unraveled the motive behind the attack, a termination from employment that had escalated into a vengeful quest for retribution. The assailants, driven by anger and desperation, had chosen a path of violence to settle the score with their former employer. The injured man was carefully attended to by paramedics and swiftly transported to the hospital, leaving behind a crime scene that spoke volumes about the fragility of human relationships and the potential for violence that lurks beneath the surface of seemingly mundane interactions. In the aftermath, as the night waned, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The incident served as a stark reminder of the thin line that separates order from chaos, even in the quietest corners of town. Grateful that the night hadn't claimed my own well-being, I found myself haunted by the chilling reality that such horrors could unfold at any moment in the life of a police officer. The police department buzzed with the low hum of activity as the night unfolded. My partner and I had just settled into the break room, catching glimpses of the late-night news on a small television. The atmosphere was calm, the usual routine of the night shift offering a brief respite from the chaos that often defined our line of work. The peace was shattered by the piercing ring of the phone, echoing through the otherwise quiet station. The dispatcher's voice, urgent and tinged with concern, relayed a report from a vigilant neighbor. 3 individuals had been seen entering a house whose owners had been away on vacation for the past 3 days. Without hesitation, my partner and I grabbed our gear, shared a quick nod, and rushed towards the patrol car waiting outside. The drive to the reported location was tense, the anticipation of the unknown palpable. The night air was chilly, and the glow of city lights barely penetrated the darkness. As we pulled up to the address, an unsettling silence hung in the air. No cars, no signs of life. Only a shattered window at the back of the house hinted at the intrusion we were about to confront. Approaching cautiously, flashlights illuminating the path, we surveyed the surroundings for any movement. The darkness seemed to close in around us as we approached the broken window. With a glance, we communicated our readiness and crawled through, making sure not to disturb the stillness of the night. Inside, the house loomed ominously empty, a stark contrast to the shattered window that betrayed an unwelcome visitor. We moved silently through the rooms, tension mounting with each step. The chill in the air carried whispers of unseen dangers, and the creaking of the floorboards beneath our boots echoed through the empty space. Ascending the stairs, the anticipation reached its zenith. The second-floor hallway stretched before us, doors lining each side like sentinels guarding secrets. Methodically, we checked each room, the suspense growing with every turn of the doorknob. When we pushed open the door to the second room, a chilling scene unfolded. 3 men, caught mid-attempt to hide, froze as our flashlights exposed them. Panic flickered in their eyes as we trained our weapons on them. One of them, armed with a pistol, attempted to retaliate in desperation. Instinct kicked in, and I reacted swiftly, firing a shot that struck his arm. The room erupted into chaos as his screams reverberated, the pain etched across his face. My partner, maintaining composure, called for backup. The wounded man writhed on the floor, his firearm clattering out of reach. The seconds dragged on, each moment feeling like an eternity as we kept the suspects at gunpoint, adrenaline coursing through our veins. It was a perilous dance on the precipice of danger, and the thin line separating order from chaos hung in the air. The distant wail of sirens grew louder, signaling the imminent arrival of our fellow officers. As backup flooded into the scene, the suspects were apprehended, their futile attempts to escape thwarted. The once silent house now echoed with the sounds of law enforcement at work, bringing order to the chaos that had briefly taken hold. In the aftermath, I couldn't shake the realization that our encounter had been a mere heartbeat away from tragedy. A bullet had narrowly missed its mark, a life hanging in the balance. The suspects, now in handcuffs, were led away as the night returned to its calm facade. The broken window stood as a poignant reminder of the fragile balance we maintained, and I found myself reflecting on the events of that night with a renewed appreciation for the unpredictable nature of our profession. Every call, every encounter, was a stark reminder that life could change in an instant, prompting me to value each moment with newfound significance.